Hi, my name is Jose, and now I'm explaining the legal idea of legalizing recreational drugs disappear. Okay, and the first one, what are drugs? Okay, psychotic substance or drug is any substance that introduced into the body by any route of administration producing alteration in the functioning of the central nervous system and is susceptible to create independence, whether psychological, physical, or both. Furthermore, psychoactive substances have the ability to modify the consciousness, mood, or thought process, okay, of the person who consumes them. Okay, drug legalization. We begin with the analysis of the dilemma: what will be better or less bad? Legalize to miniature drug trafficking, even if it encourages drug addiction, or continue as we live confronting drug trafficking and invigorating prevention. Okay, road construction is the cause of an increase in crime, an increase in vehicle accidents, problems at work and at home, and when consumed during pregnancy, it damages the fetus and the womb. In the womb, the consumption of some drugs can use child abuse or sexual abuse. It's sure drugs use goes hand in hand with violence and crime. But we can crime only that which come from drug trafficking. Okay, by legalizing only some substance of abuse which only cause psychological dependence and which can be consumed occasionally without a reaction state of physical dependence, and it has been shown that these are usually the precursor to starting the use of new hygrosteric substance addictive power. Okay, an official study carried out in the United States that 6 out of every 10 arrested for robbery or assault had regularly consumed some drug during the month prior to their arrest, and that 4 out of every 10 were under the influence of drugs at the time of committing the crime. Okay, like proponents argue about an individual's right to use drugs. A scientist person decides to use it and only harms themselves. This is unacceptable. Science it only harms the people who have direct contact with the addict at home, but also generates problems on the streets and at work. Okay, generating physical, moral, and economic damage. This is very complicated. Some claim that with legalization, many young people would stop using drugs because the main incentive for the consumption would disappear, given the characteristics of adolescents who always understand prohibition as a challenge. There are young people who may perceive that the ban as challenge, but not all young people react this way to all challenge. Adolescence is not synonymous with irrationality. The vast majority of boys respect the rules established by society, as well as the laws and regulation imposed by authority. Okay, by authority. There are countries where police are more permissive for the consumption of some drugs, like the Netherlands, who although they claim the marijuana consumption has not increased since what it was discriminated. Reality refused that statement. In 10 years, the number of cafes and marijuana shops increased from 13 to 300 in Italy and Spain, countries that elevate the use of cocaine and heroin occupy the first two places in terms of the number of users in emergency situations due to overdose. Okay. Furthermore, the nations that establish permissive strategies are now moving towards policy of greater control or supply, fight against drug trafficking, greater penalization of consumption and better preventive and treatment programs. Although it is not a denial that the legalization of drugs is an option in the fight against drug trafficking, the act of legalizing addictive drugs that are prohibited today will be child produced and increase in their consumption and therefore increase in the number of users as well and drug addicts. Okay, those who support legalization believe that legalizing will put an end to drug trafficking and the crimes it causes. Since there are no crimes to prosecute, the need to repress it and therefore problems derived from drug trafficking will end. But whoever guarantees use that drug traffickers will withdraw and dedicate themselves to doing legal business. They will not take the opportunity to open new markets. How new markets? Okay. Second, how recreational drugs affect Colombia. The consumption of psychoactive substances in the country is a critical problem not only because of the systematic increase indicated by available studies but because its characteristics make it a complex issue with serious repercussions on public health and society. Drug consumption. Illicit substances are growing in the country not only because more people consume them, but because the substance market is increasingly broader and more diverse. It is important to recognize that while many people use drugs at some point in their life cycle and abandon them naturally in others, substance use becomes persistent and can affect health, social, family, work, and or academic relationships. Okay, the difference between individual and another depends on several aspects. In the file substance, the person and their social context. The consumption of illicit drugs is growing in the country not only because more people consume the blood, because the substance market is greatly broader and more diverse. Okay. Through the work of the Colombian Drug Observatory (ODC), the country has made important progress in the development of periodic epidemiological studies with internationally standardized methodologies and animated in 3K populations general. Population age 2 to 65 school population, vaccine and secondary students, okay, and university population. This investigation have been led by the Ministry of Justice and Law with the support of the Ministry of Health and Social Protection and the Ministry of National Education. Okay. What drugs are considered recreational? Drug consumption, although it has excited science ancient times, has undergone many transformations throughout history. according a significant magnitude is today society to the point of being of one of the main industries of social and health concern. Okay, the etymological origin of the word drug is uncertain. For some, it dates back to the Renaissance era, associated with the activity of importing and selling spices from South Asia by Dutch merchants. The drug plant in Dutch, was American in power or crusher for an its main indication, whereas a medicine as food condiment or as the cosmetic product. The term drug subsequently spread to other European countries with certain transformations. These substances were sold in pharmacies when they had medicinal applications, okay, in grocery stores when their purpose were food related, or in drugstores when their uses were related or cosmetic. Okay, others place the origin of the word drug in Bulgarian's hatruka, derived from Hispanic Arabic or Andalusian Arabic that literally translates in quackery as quackery. Anyone who tried this substance was became of wholesaler size drugs or pharmaceuticals. In Tucson, they did not have the therapeutic efficacy of today and were nothing more than simple with supports medicinal usefulness. Okay, based or their effect on the central nervous system CNS, drugs can be classified into the large groups. One group, depressant, such as alcohol, anxiolytics, or heroin. Okay. Second group, stimulants, tobacco, cocaine, antidepressants, etc. And three group, disrupted, hallucinants, cannabis, synthetic drugs. On the other hand, based on its use or purpose, there have traditionally been their uses. 1. Medical. There is evidence of the medicinal or therapeutic use of certain psychoactive substances, opium, cocaine, cannabis. Not in vain, the term drug has not among its main is that of drug. 2. Sociocultural. In certain areas, the use of substances with the medical psychoactive effects is permitted, as well as the sporadic consumption of higher potency substances in creating social interaction to complete with certain cultural traditions. Okay, likewise, certain psychoactive substances are used to induce or celebrate certain religious rituals. 3. Recreational refers to the use of the psychoactive substance generally in a recreational social context, right? Parties, nightlife venues, bottles, okay, and where their consumption is expected to a greater or lesser extent. To the question, we understand recreational drugs as two psychoactive substances that are consumed for pleasurable purpose and in environments where their consumption is habitual and frequent. Taking into consideration their prevalence, the most used recreational drugs are in this order: alcohol, tobacco, cannabis, cocaine, and synthetic drugs substance. Okay, all of them that have been increasing in the prevalence in recent decades, especially among women. Okay, for item, what is meant by recreational use? Psychoactive substances are various natural or synthetic compounds that act on the nervous system, generating alteration in the functions that regulate thoughts, emotions, and behavior. Okay, there are regulations for the control and supervision of the use of these substances, whether for a recreational use, such as alcohol or tobacco, for pharmacological use, such as tranquilizers or opiate analgesics, or for general use, such as industrial solvents. There is a group whose use is considered illicit and only authorized for medical or research purpose, such as the case of cocaine and its derivatives. The use of the psychoactive substance always implies a degree of rise of suffering, adverse consequence of different organs and systems, which can occur in the short term, as in the case of intoxication, which increases the risk of injuries due to accidents or aggressions, as well as sexual conduct in unsafe conditions. The repeat and prolonged use of this substance over time favors the development of dependence disorders, which are chronic and recurrent disorders characterized by an intense need for the substance and loss of the ability to control its consumption, despite adverse consequences in the state of health or interpersonal, family, academic work, or legal functioning. Okay. 5 item. What can we do to avoid drug use? There are 8 arguments against drug use, and I am going to read them to you. Okay. 1. UN protocol. The most weighted argument put forward is that only the UN could formalize the legalization of drugs, a reason associated by those who want prohibition to end. At the moment, it is very difficult for this to happen if we take into account that 160 countries will have to agree, some of which have the right to veto and against it, such as the United States. Okay, second argument. Increase in drug consumption. One of the immediate consequences of legalization, okay, would be an increase in consumption. Although experiments carried out with guinea pigs reveal that drug consumption increases or decreases in proportion to how easy or difficult it is to obtain it. We know that other factors influence people. Okay. However, the perception of risk would decrease, and it is possible that if a group of friends or ever parents choose who were undecided will also do so, given this anti-prohibitionist act, that there would come a time when consumption would establish, as happened with the repeal of prohibition in the United States. 3 argument. Dependency. On the other hand, the most disadvantaged and the most vulnerable social groups would be the ones who would end up being dependent, and those who have further resources to overcome this dependency. Okay. 4 argument. Market and state regularization. In relation to the regularization of the market by states, as proposed by anti-prohibitionists, those who consider legalization unless argue the drug addicts would find themselves to captive boy in the illegal market, where the prices would surely be lower when if their quality also decreased, therefore crime would not end. Okay, 5 argument: minors and drug science minor will not be able to access drugs, which will become illegal from there. They will try to break the laws by going to the black market. Okay. Sixth argument: self-consumption. In the case of home self-cultivation of cannabis, it cannot be ruled out that this cultivation for own consumption does not transcend and being to supply its environment, which would feed the black market again. Seven argument: health versus freedom. In contrast to the argument of the sovereign freedom of the individual to do with its health what he wants and therefore to enjoy the right to consume drugs, to who think that ensuring the well-being of citizens is also the task of governments, argue that their individual decision is having an impact on its society as well. In the end, the abyss men are the ones who have to bear the economic burden of restoring the physical and mental health of the dependent. Okay? And 588 and final argument: soft versus illegal drug. In contrast to those who advocate the legalization of at least the so-called soft drugs, there are professionals who ensure that it would be even more counterproductive to legalize some drugs and not others, because the mafias will concentrate on the dissemination of illegal ones. Okay, thank you.